If I were to ask everybody listening or watching to say, raise your hand if you've heard of the phrase buyer's remorse. That sound you just heard is tens of thousands of people all over the greater Chicago area land and beyond raising their hand right now. They're like, oh, yeah, buyer's remorse, Joey. I've heard of that. And what we know buyer's remorse is the scientific feeling, the scientifically proven feeling at a biological level after we make a purchase that we begin to doubt the decision we just made. We make a purchase, our brain floods with dopamine. We feel joy, euphoria, excitement. This is the apartment that's going to be the answer to my prayers. This is the house that I'm going to be able to raise a family in. Whatever it may be, they're feeling excited about. But almost as quickly as that dopamine floods the brain, it starts to recede. And those feelings of joy, euphoria, and excitement are replaced by feelings of fear and doubt and uncertainty. What if this landlord is like my last landlord and won't even fix a clog? What if this landlord is like my last one and, it's just constantly difficult to get a hold of, isn't responsive, even for things that I'm trying to take care of their space and they're not even caring about their house or their apartment as much as I do. That fear, that doubt and uncertainty, if we don't address that, will only continue to increase over the time in the relationship. So proactively, Tom, you ask, well, what can we do? How can we reaffirm their choice? How can we address that buyer's remorse that we know they're going to feel? Well, we need to stop presuming that the signing of the lease is the pinnacle of the relationship. It's not. I know you're celebrating. I know your leasing agents are high-fiving. They're like, woohoo, we got another one. We got somebody to sign the 12-month, the 18-month, the 24-month. We're good to go. We don't have to think about this unit again for a year. I get it. But on the resident side, they're doubting the decision they just made. And then what are we going to do? Well, we usually have a gap of 2 to 4 weeks, if not more, between the time they sign the lease and when they actually move in. And then what are we going to do? Move-in day. No one likes move-in day. Even the moving companies don't like moving day. It's stressful. It's painful. You don't even remember what the unit or the house looked like. You're trying to fit all of your stuff that used to fit in your old place with no difficulty into the new place. You're living out of boxes. You're not even sure where the dishes are. You're trying to feed people that night. You've got, if you've got kids, your partner, even just yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by chaos. We ask people what the most stressful experience in their life is. Second behind death of a loved one is moving. And yet this is our first experience we have with the residents. And what do most landlords or property management folks do? Just stay away from them on move-in day. Just give them the keys and then get out of the way. Don't disturb them. Don't kick the cat. They're going to be irritated. Stay away from them. This is a huge mistake. We have the opportunity to make move-in day the first day of the next chapter of their life. We have the opportunity to make move-in day feel special, feel remarkable, feel positive. And I'm not talking about spending tens of thousands of dollars on a remarkable experience. I'm just talking about helping them to know, where do they park the moving truck? Helping them to know, hey, when you move in, if you pull this pin on the door that has the auto closer, we can have the door propped up so you're not fighting the door every single time while you're moving in. Little things that because you know the property and the location intimately, that a new resident has no clue about. It's not rocket science, folks. It's just about caring about people a little more to make their day feel a little better than they were expecting it to feel.
Good stuff. Do you think that's the part of the customer journey that we miss the most, that post-sales, whatever, called the next week, 30 days? That's like the biggest opportunity?
Yeah, Tom, in my book, Never Lose a Customer Again, I outline 8 phases that every customer, every resident is going to go through. And the 2 phases that I see most organizations fail to pay attention to is that affirm stage, which, by the way, is the 3rd of the 8 phases. So there's actually 2 before that, which would be interesting to explore. But that buyer's remorse, what are we going to do? And then the 5th phase, which is the acclimate phase. Now, the acclimate phase starts on the 2nd day of them being in the property, being in the house, being in the apartment, and lasts for weeks, if not months, while they acclimate to this new living space. So you may be advocating, oh, guess what? We have a gym. And we have a gym in our apartment complex. And that's one of the amenities that we have. And that's why you should sign up. And we know that they're excited to sign the lease because they told us in the lease conversations, I'm excited that there's a gym. how quickly will they start using the gym? Most new residents will not use it in week one. They won't use it in week two because they're still unpacking. They're getting things, their back still hurts from carrying their boxes in. They're not going to go work out as well. So, this thing that was the thing they were excited about, they're not even using. What are we doing to help acclimate them to the space? What are we doing to remind them that they're part of a community? What are we doing to reintroduce them to the amenities that seemed so interesting and exciting when they first moved in, to get them actually using them and experiencing the benefit? The research shows that you have 100 days. The first 100 days of the relationship are the most important time in the entire relationship. They are more dispositive as to the lifetime value, the retention, the overall satisfaction and joy that someone has with any purchase. It's all foundationally built in those first 100 days. As an owner, you should be thinking strategically and intentionally about what kinds of interactions are we having in the first 100 days to make the deposits in the karmic bank account, so that if things go wrong, and by the way, they're going to go wrong, there's going to be issues. Welcome to owning property. Okay. If you want a career and a business and investment vehicle that does not have problems, do not get into real estate. Do not get into property. You're going to have it. So just acknowledge that. And instead of trying to hide from it, say, what can we do to lay that foundation in the first 100 days so that when things do go wrong, we're making withdrawals on the positive karmic bank account deposits that we made at the beginning of the relationship, as opposed to dealing from a deficit before we even get started.